Coming to you today. I just wanted to shoot a video about something that I'm really concerned and passionate about, and it's affordable housing. I get a lot of emails every day about affordable housing, and there's no. It's obvious that we, as a country, are not doing a good job with affordable housing, but we've made some history here in the last month or so. We've officially become a country where the average median income can no longer afford the average median home price. So that's kind of sad news. Obviously, that's got a lot to do with interest rates and prices being driven up. We have a severe shortage of affordable housing, and the rents over the last 3 to 5 years have skyrocketed. We're starting to see some rents come down, but honestly, in some of the places where people are moving, rents are not coming down. We're seeing a mass exodus of people leaving states that are more liberal and have more liberal policies and are taxing businesses. So people are coming to states like Tennessee and Texas, Florida, states that don't have as much of a tax, and some of them don't have a state income tax. So we're seeing that mass exodus, but that's just making things worse for the places that are losing that taxable income. But I'm going to share my screen with you guys so that you can see some of the newest information we have. So this email just kind of starts out saying, we knew that we were about 7 million homes short, right? We were 7 million homes short, and now we're up to about 7.3 million homes for the lowest income renters. So if you know much about affordable housing and low income, we have kind of a scale, and 30% and below is considered the most stress. Those are the lowest income is 30% of the AMI and below. Now, some of you may know I'm doing an affordable housing project. I'm doing a LIHTC development, which is the low income housing tax credit. I started that deal back in 2020, and then the pandemic hit, and we're hopefully a couple months away from completion of 39 affordable housing units. But I can tell you from experience that the development of LIHTC housing is not the solution to the housing problem that we have in this country. It will help a certain range of people. Really, in between that 30 to 60% range is what LIHTC housing targets. It's basically your Section 8 that targets 30% and below, and that system is kind of stressed and really messed up as well. But unfortunately, LIHTC does not address the concern in the most efficient way, and I can attest to that. And we've seen all kinds of construction. Right now, you just can't afford to build much of anything. Not only can you not afford the construction loan, but the construction prices are so high that we just can't afford to build. So, what is the solution? And I'm going to throw something out there that's been around a long time, especially if you're a country person like I am. It's not anything that's new, and it doesn't address this for urban areas. But the mobile home and the mobile home park have been our country's answer to affordable housing for the last 50, 60, 70 years when those first mobile homes made their appearance. They're cheap. They get the job done. They're mobile. They can be moved around. They don't have to have foundations. And obviously, mobile home parks appeared in order to provide a place for these homes to be set up. Back in the 70s and 80s, all you had to do was get the utilities underground and pave or gravel the driveways, and people would move in these homes. If you owned a mobile home park, you would probably have a fill rate of about 4 or 5 homes a month. And if you had 100 spots, you could have that thing leased up in a year or two, every spot taken. Obviously, we're not seeing that today, but mobile home parks over the last 10 years have become a really good investment. And honestly, I mean, I do have a passion for affordable housing, but I also look at it from investor eyes. I want to see where my money can make the best the best impact, and I do want to make an impact with some of the money I invest, but I also want to make a return. Philanthropy is different than investing, and I give plenty of money away with the intention of giving it away. I don't want to give it away in an investment that goes bad or sideways. So, mobile home parks are what I'm going to talk about. So, why should you even invest in a mobile home park? Now, depending on where you grew up, you may think that mobile home parks are just terrible things and only terrible people live there, but that's absolutely not true. I've seen some beautiful mobile home parks. If you know anything about Florida and the snowbird industry down there, they have probably hundreds of thousands of people that come from the north that snowbird. If you ever watch the interstates around Thanksgiving, they spend Thanksgiving with their family, and a lot of them jet down to they pull their RVs and they go to their little mobile homes that are in Florida. It's been going on for decades. So mobile home parks are not necessarily the worst thing out there. They can be well managed. Of course, they can be bad, especially if you have a lot of rental homes inside a mobile home park. What you want are a bunch of tenants who own their home but lease the dirt. That's what we call a true mobile home park, is just leasing dirt to people. And let me tell you, you can't do much to hurt the dirt. Okay. Um, Now, you will occasionally see empty spots in a mobile home park, but the best mobile home park operators will get in there. They will go ahead and finance the purchase of some used homes or maybe even some new homes. They'll cut an agreement with somebody like Clayton or Oakwood, and those dealers may bring in one or two brand new homes, and they may provide some kind of affordable financing with the park owner guaranteeing that note. So what happens is if the person moves in and starts making payments and then they can't make their payments anymore, the park owner, in order to keep that home in the park, has to start making those payments and find a new owner to qualify for that financing. So that's one way that those are done. But mobile home parks used to be off the radar. They 10, 15 years ago, nobody wanted to mess with mobile home parks. They were just little mom and pop operations, and they made a lot of money. And that came to the attention of investors and Wall Street, and then you start seeing the consolidation of that market. We talked about consolidation with marinas a little bit. That's just starting to happen. That's why I'm excited about the marina industry. There's very little consolidation. Most marinas are still owned by mom and pop. And when we say mom and pop, we just mean a husband and wife who started it from scratch. And now, all these years later, they're ready to retire. They're looking to get out of this. They don't even really know how much it's worth or what it's worth. Sometimes they don't have the money to put into the upkeep later in life. So you get opportunities to buy marinas from mom and pop. That time has probably passed where we could make 3, 4, 5 times our investment on mobile home parks, but there's still very sound investments out there where you can easily 2.5, sometimes 3 times your money in a 5-year hold. And those are the type of mobile home parks we're looking for. We're also seeing more and more operators who will hold the home park for 3 to 5 years, and then they will refinance. And what they're trying to do is, if you invest $100,000, their goal is to get your money back in your pocket in that short period of time, so that then you have infinite returns. So those are the kind of deals I look for. I want to turn my money over quicker, and my goal is to get my money back in my pocket in about 3 years. Some deals can do that, some deals can't. But mobile home parks, you can definitely do that. And then, especially if they're going to refinance and be able to give you back some of your or most of your investment, then you're going to have ongoing what we call infinite cash flow. Now, that cash flow will be decreased because of the new debt, but you can still have $100,000 mobile home park investment cash flowing $5, $6, $8,000 a year in that 5 to maybe even 5 to 10% range. Which is good cash flow, and you continue to get that. You don't have to worry about, you just get income, and this is really good for older investors who may be in their 50s, approaching retirement. They want to start setting up some monthly cash flow coming in that they can count on. Mobile home parks are very strong for that reason. So I love mobile home parks because they just address this affordable housing situation in this country. Sadly, it's very hard to get zoning for a mobile home park these days. You will see occasionally some jurisdictions allow a double wide mobile home park, but some of those homes are pushing 250, 300, $350,000 for a nice double wide setup on an acre of land. Typically needs an acre because you have to have a septic tank. And so you could have a 50-acre subdivision of mobile homes, but that's not really the mobile home parks we're talking about. We're talking about the single wide mobile home that actually is on a city sewer. You can generally get 6 to 8 homes on an acre in that situation with a city sewer. So we're seeing a lot of good mobile home park deals come across. I'm underwriting several of them with some of my friends, and I probably will be bringing a mobile home park deal to the Smart A investor community very, very soon. So I just wanted to get this out there as a primer for you guys to be getting familiar with this asset. We just did our investment in a marina last month. That's closing out. We're about ready to hit enter on that investment. And we're going to move on and look at some other asset classes. I have some really interesting conversations coming up on debt funds. These are funds that can pay just 8-10% on your money, cash flow month after month. Really good income producing assets. That's what we're looking at right now. Seeing lots of multifamily deals, but I'm holding off on those because I think we're going to see some better deals as more distress hits the market. Just in my opinion, I don't think interest rates are coming down all that much this year. We may see it in residential, but in the commercial, I just don't see that the Fed is going to drop that rate as much as they need to. I think inflation is still very seriously high. I think we're being misled that inflation is under control. And if you're like me and you go to buy gas or you go to buy groceries and you look at the price of some of these things, I don't buy into the fact that inflation is under control. So that you can make that judgment yourself. But anyway, this is really, I hope, I wanted to show you one more thing here real quick. Let me share my screen and just show you how bad the affordable housing, let's see, how bad it is nationwide. It's just a cool, a map that shows the gap in affordable housing. No surprise that it's all over the country. Obviously, it's worse out west, California, just all the West Coast, Arizona, Phoenix, Oregon, Washington, all those places. People, I'm from East Tennessee. People love living out west, and that population has driven up those prices. Texas is on there, and Florida and Virginia as well. You see, Tennessee here is just kind of cool. So what this means is the chart says that 30 out of 100 affordable and available rental homes per 100. So out of 100 available homes, only 30 in California are accessible to people in an affordable class. So that just kind of tells you it's a nationwide problem. Nobody really has it under control. The Southeast is doing a little bit better job than most, but it'll take decades for us, and I just don't know that we'll ever be able to get that number down, that 7.3 million number. It just keeps rising, kind of like the national debt. So that's why I think mobile home parks will always be a great play. And I'm always out there looking for new ideas in affordable housing and trying to figure out ways to build units less expensively. Some people they're building smaller units and making more shared spaces. There's a lot of things to consider. Some modular housing situations are coming up. They're a little bit cheaper to bring in modules that are factory built. But unfortunately, some of those modules are just as expensive as building stick built. So it doesn't always save as much money. But affordability will occur, and I think it's going to come as apartment buildings are going to see a downgrade this summer, and we'll see more and more, unfortunately, more and more apartment keys getting turned in, apartment complex keys by those owners, those operators who took unnecessary risks on interest rates. Somebody's got to pay the piper, and unfortunately, there will be a lot of investors lose some money in those situations. That's why we look for deals that cash flow well and can cash flow into the future and aren't at risk of interest rate changes. So, and that's another reason to just hang out with us here at Smart A Investors. I love teaching this stuff. I love looking at investments. I want to help you find safe investments that can double or triple what you're doing in the stock market. I hope, if anything, I hope you realize Wall Street does not have your best interest in mind. You need to get some of your money off Wall Street and into real tangible assets like mobile home parks. And there are dozens of different assets out there, but this video was specifically about affordable housing and mobile home parks. I hope this maybe helped you see the need and why I like mobile home parks. And I'll continue to do videos like this. Let me know what you think in the comments below. We'll see you guys next time.